what is the Ecac, what are the goals, and what are we doing moving forward? So we formed this organization about a year ago, and it all started with Tammy and Dwyer at a restaurant, and he asked me to meet with them, and he said, you know, we have this amazing organization that has some amazing awards, but we just don't have access to the schools. And I said, you know, that's a common theme, and it's not anybody's fault in education. The issue is that I, as a school board member, should do a better job of connecting and bridging that gap that exists between there. So Tammy, his lovely wife, took on the responsibility for organizing all this chaos and has done an amazing job. And Dwyer has taken the lead as far as contacting many of the other organizations and STEMs and stuff like that. And Dwyer, you never say that you're retired military. Did you want to put that in there? Because that was, you never say that you're retired.
Well, I retired from the Air Force in 2018 after 35 plus years in the Air Force. So spent a while in the uniform, and then we moved, retired out of Hanscom Air Force Base, which is outside of Boston, right between Lexington and Concord, another place of great history and a lot of museums and so forth. And so moved down here, and just excited to be part of the Brevard community and seeing all the opportunities here. And just, Matt, since I got the mic hot here, you know, so, you know, part of what Matt was sharing there is that just a specific example, Air and Space Forces Association here in the local chapter here has had a Teacher of the Year program for years, and in fact, last year in September, right, one of our teachers from Magali High won AFA National Teacher of the Year, okay? And so what happened, though, is then we sent applications, and we got no applications back the next year, okay? And then I started talking to some other veteran groups and so forth, and they say, yeah, we have scholarships that we never get an application for. We have Teacher of the Year recognitions and so forth and it's just the difficulty in communicating and knowing, and then especially the scholarships opportunity for students. We say, okay, well, how can we build something that will allow the parents, the students, the counselors, the school be able to tap into that body of information? We said, well, let's get together, form a coalition, find out what opportunities there are, and start populating it. And so that's kind of, in a nutshell, where we're headed. And it's just been really exciting for Tammy and I to have a small part in helping pull this together.
So the main goal of the coalition is not to basically be any of those components, but be the connection between all those components, so that we can drive children to the museums, we can bring in the STEM education, we can have the scholarships and the recognitions applied for. So what we did was we established 3 major topics. We identified them, we worked through them, and now I'm going to take a minute and run through all of those, and then at the end, we're going to have an opportunity to talk about what we're going to be working on next after these 3. So the first of them is to leverage museums to promote historical civic foundations for Brevard students. Basically, we want to increase the attendance inside of our local museums. We want to increase students' knowledge of our local, state, and national history through attendance at the museums. And we want to promote the students and their parents to visit the museums, collectively learn and understand. Now, how do we as a school district support the museums? So the coalition came up with this amazing opportunity that we would message out what's known as the Museums of Brevard Passport. And many of you guys have it in front of you. What the museums have done is they've agreed to allow the students to have this passport, and as they come to visit each one of the museums, they get a stamp from that particular museum, and then the students will bring this and turn it in, and once they have at least 10 of them, they will then get a certificate, and that certificate will say that they've attended 10 of the museums. I already know my wife and all of her friends have gotten together. The Museums of Brevard, a little map that you guys have, and all of the breakdowns, which we'll put as part of the communication, has just been, they're excited. And I think one of the issues is that there's never been a bridge because you guys are not-for-profits, and it's difficult for you to build the media machine to communicate, and then for us to drive to you. So I think this is going to be a marriage made in heaven. And so basically what you have is three main areas. The students go and they visit 10 or more, they get a certificate. They visit the armed services ones, so there's the Liberty Bell Museum, there's the Tycho Airport, that's a certificate. And then also, if they come and volunteer at least 10 hours at one of your museums or multiple museums that would be recorded through the Bright Futures, we would also give them another certificate. Basically driving the children to not only come view, but then also spend their times inside your museums to volunteer. And I'll tell you, many of you guys may have rules and restrictions on age requirements for volunteers, but my son at 8 years old can do a lot of different things, so try not to be dismissive of the young kids, because they'll be more interested in doing stuff and everything else. So the basic idea is that we create these three certificates, and we will communicate by sending out, right now, between now and June 1st, communications with the passport and everybody else through our communications department. And then once the parents see the passports and they find the materials that the county's already put together, then on June 1st, once school's out, they can start to go visit the museums. And then in August, January, and May, we will have 3 different board meetings where the students will come in and be honored. I do want to take a second. Jessica, why don't you come up here? She kind of hid back there. You can take Ms. Campbell's seat over here. I wanted to take a second and introduce Ms. Jessica Anderson, who has developed this Museums of Brevard passport, and she's also developing the other components to what we're talking about and the certificates. I wanted to give you a second, Ms. Jessica Anderson, when you get a chance.
Yeah, so I go to Vera High School. I'm a senior graduating this year, and they reached out and asked if I would help out to design the passport and the website and the certificates and everything, and I thought it'd be a great opportunity, and I've had a lot of fun so far. Designing everything, and I'm very excited about it. I didn't know we had a lighthouse, so it's been cool to learn about it. I've been telling my friends, I was like, you guys, we have all these museums, and all of us in high school, we don't know about them because we didn't get to go on I know I went to like the Kennedy Space Center in elementary school, but other than that, we didn't really do any field trips or recognition of our museum, so I'm excited to bring more attention to them and let the younger kids experience that.